like you had a hard night.
No, night's easy. Getting over's the hard part.
Today, we're diving into 1974, a year when television networks threw everything at the wall to see what would stick, and boy did most of it slide right off. From ambitious dramas to Sonny Bono without Cher, these shows represent some of the boldest experiments and biggest misfires of the decade. Let's count down 15 shows from 1974 that audiences simply refuse to watch. Number 15, Paul Sand and Friends and Lovers. This sitcom had everything going for it, and I mean everything. Created by James L. Brooks and Alan Burns, the minds behind The Mary Tyler Moore Show, it starred Tony Award winner Paul Sand as Robert Dreyfuss, a shy double bass player with the Boston Symphony Orchestra. The cast included a young Penny Marshall, who'd later hit it big with Laverne and Shirley. But here's the kicker. CBS gave it the best time slot in television history, Saturday nights at 8:30, sandwiched between All in the Family and The Mary Tyler Moore Show. TV Guide asked 5 programming experts which new show would be the season's biggest hit. All 5 picked this one. So, what went wrong? Despite decent ratings, it finished 25th for the season. The network expected a blockbuster, but it couldn't match All in the Family's massive audience and actually hurt The Mary Tyler Moore Show's ratings. CBS pulled the plug after just 15 episodes in January of 1975, replacing it with The Jeffersons. Talk about pressure. Number 14, The New Land. ABC took a gamble on this drama about Swedish immigrants struggling to build a new life in 1858 Minnesota. Based on a series of Swedish films, The New Land starred Bonnie Bedelia and Scott Thomas as a pioneering family facing the harsh realities of frontier life. The show wanted to be America's answer to epic immigrant sagas, but audiences in 1974 weren't interested in bleak frontier hardship. It premiered in September and was gone by October. One of the first casualties of the 1974-75 season. Only 13 episodes were produced, making it one of ABC's quickest cancellations that year. If you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, hit that like button and subscribe, and drop a comment below. Which forgotten 1970s flop deserves a second chance? Let us know. Number 13, Kodiak. Clint Walker, fresh off his Western hit Cheyenne, returned to television as Cal Kodiak McKay, an Alaska State Patrol officer responsible for 50,000 square miles of frozen terrain. The show had helicopters, snowmobiles, and rugged Alaskan landscapes. It also had terrible timing. Kodiak premiered on Friday, September the 13th, already an ominous date, opposite NBC's powerhouse Sanford and Son. The Chicago Tribune's Gary Deeb brutally panned it, saying Clint plays fourth fiddle to a snowmobile, an airplane, and a fire hose. ABC canceled it after just 5 episodes in October of 1974, making it one of the fastest cancellations in network history. Walker would have to wait a few more years before finding TV success again. Number 12, The Texas Wheelers. Here's a show with an impressive pedigree that still couldn't find an audience. Produced by MTM Enterprises and starring Jack Elam as a crusty, hard-drinking father who abandons his 4 kids, then unexpectedly returns to their Texas town. The cast featured future stars you'd recognize. Gary Busey played Truckee, the oldest son, and a young Mark Hamill. Yes, the future Luke Skywalker played 16-year-old Doobie. The theme song was John Prine's Illegal Smile. Critics actually liked it. The New York Times called it the perfect antidote for old hangovers trailing much of what is called warm family drama. But ABC scheduled it against NBC's The Rockford Files. Game over. The network canceled it after airing just 4 episodes in the fall of 1974. 8 more episodes were eventually produced, but only saw the light of day during summer reruns in 1975. It became one of MTM's first major flops. Number 11, The Sunny Comedy Review. What happens when you take half of Sonny and Cher and expect it to work? You get 13 episodes and a pink slip. Fresh from his divorce from Cher, Sonny Bono tried to prove he could carry a variety solo show. ABC gave him Sunday nights at 8 p.m., and many of the same writers and producers from the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. They even brought back popular sketches like Sonny's Pizza. But critics were merciless. The Des Moines Register wrote, "The ghost of Cher haunts the Sonny Comedy Review." The premiere ranked 41st out of 61 programs. And by late October, one episode ranked 50th out of 53 shows. ABC pulled the plug after 13 episodes in December of 1974. The irony? Cher would premiere her own solo show on CBS in early 1975, and it would be far more successful. The lesson? Apparently, America preferred Cher without Sonny more than Sonny without Cher. Number 10. Harry O. Now, this one's interesting because Harry O wasn't actually a complete failure. It's more of a could-have-been great story. David Janssen starred as Harry Orwell, a San Diego detective forced into retirement after being shot in the back, with the bullet still lodged near his spine. The show was critically acclaimed, had gorgeous cinematography, and Janssen won an Emmy. So why is it on this list? Well, because nobody watched it first. The early episodes struggled in the ratings, and the show almost got canceled after its first season. So ABC retooled it, moving the setting from San Diego to Los Angeles, changing the supporting cast. The show lasted 2 seasons and 44 episodes before ABC axed it in 1976 to make room for Charlie's Angels. One of its recurring actresses, Farrah Fawcett, who'd become one of Charlie's Angels. Harry O's cancellation left Janssen so bitter, he vowed to never do another TV series. Number 9. Second Start, aka Karen. This was MTM Enterprises' attempt at creating a contemporary drama about a single woman starting over. Unfortunately, little information survives about this forgotten show, and that's telling in itself. When even TV historians can barely remember your show existed, that's the ultimate obscurity. What we know? It aired on NBC during the 1974-1975 season, went nowhere fast, and became another MTM casualty. Along with Paul Sand in Friends and Lovers and the Texas Wheelers, 1974 was a rough year for the usually reliable MTM brand. Loving this countdown? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our dives into forgotten TV history. And tell us in the comments, what's the most obscure 70s show you remember watching? Number 8. Sons and Daughters. Earl Hammer Jr., riding high on the Waltons, tried to create another nostalgic drama set in the 1950s. Sons and Daughters starred 24-year-old Gary Frank and 17-year-old Glennis O'Connor as high school sweethearts, Jeff Reed and Anita Kramer, navigating love, family drama, and serious issues like teen pregnancy and parental divorce. The show tackled surprisingly adult themes for a 50s set drama. One episode dealt with premarital sex, another with abortion. Critics saw potential, but it aired opposite NBC's Little House on the Prairie, which absolutely crushed it in the ratings. CBS canceled it after just 9 episodes in November of 1974, replacing it with Tony Orlando and Dawn. Gary Frank would later find success on ABC's Family, but Sons and Daughters remains a what if in TV history. Number 7. The Girl Was Something Extra. Sally Field was trying to escape her typecasting from The Flying Nun when she took this role as Sally Burton, a newlywed with ESP who can read minds. John Davidson played her beleaguered husband John. The premise was pure 1970s high-concept sitcom. Think Bewitched meets I Dream of Jeannie, but with mind reading. Despite airing after the popular Sanford & Son on Friday nights, it couldn't find an audience. The show ranked 59th out of 80 programs that season. NBC canceled it after 22 episodes in March of 1974. Field would later say the show helped push her to study with Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio, ultimately leading to her dramatic breakthrough in the TV movie Sybil in 1976 and her first Oscar nomination for Taxi Driver. So, maybe getting canceled was the best thing that ever happened to her career. Number 6. The New Perry Mason. Here's a question for you. When is it a good idea to reboot a beloved classic just 7 years after it ended, while the original star is still on TV in another hit show? Well, the answer's never. Monty Markham took over the role of Perry Mason from Raymond Burr, who was concurrently starring in Ironside on NBC. The new Perry Mason debuted in September of 1973 opposite The Wonderful World of Disney and the FBI, with a new cast trying to recapture the magic of the original series. It didn't work. Critics called it stiff and lifeless. One reviewer said Harry Guardino's portrayal of D.A. Hamilton Berger was the worst case of acting ever. CBS canceled it after 15 episodes in January of 1974, replacing it with Apple's Way. Raymond Burr would later return to play Perry Mason in a successful series of TV movies in the 1980s, proving that sometimes the original really can't be replaced. Number 5. Chopper 1. Chopper 1 had a very simple premise. 2 California police officers, Don Burdick, Jim McMullen, and Gil Foley, Dirk Benedict, fight crime from a Bell 206 Jet Ranger helicopter. Think Adam 12 meets Blue Thunder. The show was produced by the legendary Spelling Goldberg Productions, so it had decent production values. Dirk Benedict would later become famous as Lieutenant Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica and as Templeton Faceman Peck in the A-Team. But in 1974, nobody cared about helicopter cops. The show premiered in January and aired on Thursday nights opposite CBS's The Waltons. That was a death sentence. ABC canceled Chopper 1 after just 13 episodes in April of 1974. Its companion show, Firehouse, got the axe the following month. The series has barely been seen since, with only a few episodes making it to DVD decades later. Number 4. Paper Moon. Based on the Oscar-winning 1973 film starring Ryan and Tatum O'Neal, Paper Moon seemed like a sure thing. You had the nostalgia factor, the Depression-era setting, and a Great Depression con man premise that had worked beautifully on the big screen. ABC cast Christopher Connolly as Moses Mose Prey and 11-year-old Jodie Foster as Addie, the precocious girl who may or may not be his daughter. Foster was already showing the talent that would later win her 2 Oscars. But the series couldn't recapture the film's magic. It aired Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m., sandwiched between The Odd Couple and competing against The Waltons and NBC's Sierra. That's a tough slot for a gentle period dramedy. ABC canceled it after 13 episodes in December of 1974. Interestingly, Foster would film Taxi Driver the following year, launching her into serious dramatic roles. Paper Moon might have been forgotten, but Jodie Foster certainly wasn't. Number 3. Petrocelli. Now here's a show that shouldn't be on this list, but technically qualifies because of how it ended. Barry Newman starred as Tony Petrocelli, a Harvard-educated lawyer who leaves the big city to practice law in fictional San Remo, Arizona, filmed in Tucson, living in a trailer with his wife Maggie, Susan Howard, while building their dream house. The show was actually good. It had an innovative format showing the same crime from different perspectives. The prosecution's version, the defendant's version, and finally Petrocelli's revelation of what really happened. Critics praised it, and Newman delivered compelling performances week after week. The problem? It aired opposite ABC's Get Christie Love and CBS's The Manhunter in its first season, then faced even tougher competition in Season 2. Despite solid reviews and decent ratings, NBC canceled it after just 2 seasons and 45 episodes in March of 1976. Several final episodes never even aired on network TV. What makes this especially frustrating is that with better scheduling and more patience from NBC, Petrocelli could have been the next Perry Mason. Instead, it's a forgotten gem that deserved better. Number 2. Apple's Way. Earl Hamner Jr. tried to create a contemporary version of the Waltons with Apple's Way. The show followed architect George Apple, Ronnie Cox, and his family as they fled Los Angeles for small-town Appleton, Iowa, a town founded by George's ancestors. The family lived in a working grist mill, dealt with culture shock, and George constantly got involved in well-meaning causes that increased family tensions. One memorable episode had the family trapped in their basement during a tornado, singing songs to pass the time. CBS launched it in February of 1974 as a mid-season replacement for the new Perry Mason, with high hopes. But it faced The Wonderful World of Disney on NBC and The FBI on ABC, both established hits. The network retooled it for season 2, focusing more on contemporary social issues like drug use and freedom of speech. Nothing worked. CBS canceled it in January of 1975 after 28 episodes across 2 seasons. Christy McNichol, who joined the cast in season 2 as Patricia Apple, would later find far more success on Family and in films. And at number 1, Happy Days. Wait, Happy Days? The show that ran for 11 seasons and became one of the biggest hits in TV history? Yes, that Happy Days. Because here's the truth most people don't know. Happy Days was a ratings disaster in its first season. When ABC debuted Happy Days in January of 1974, it was riding the nostalgia wave from American Graffiti, which had featured Ron Howard. The first season finished at number 16 in the ratings, promising but not spectacular. Then came season 2. The show plummeted to number 48, tied with the now forgotten Petrocelli, and running opposite CBS's mega hit Good Times. The show was dying, and ABC was ready to pull the plug. So, what saved it? Gary Marshall made radical changes for season 3. Out went the single camera format and laugh track. In came a 3-camera setup with a live studio audience. Most importantly, they took a minor character named Fonzie, originally just a cool guy in a gray windbreaker who appeared occasionally, and made him the centerpiece of the show. Henry Winkler's Fonzie, now wearing his iconic leather jacket. ABC had originally banned leather as too menacing and became a cultural phenomenon. By season 3, Happy Days shot to number 1 in the ratings. It stayed there for years, spinning off Laverne and Shirley and Mork and Mindy, creating the template for dozens of nostalgic sitcoms to follow. But in 1974, audiences didn't want it. The show was within weeks of cancellation. It's the ultimate comeback story, a show that nobody initially wanted to watch and became one of the most beloved sitcoms in television history. And there you have it. 15 shows of 1974 that audiences rejected, forgot, or almost forgot. What's your favorite forgotten TV show? Do you remember watching any of these? Hit that subscribe button and drop your memories in the comments below. And if you think your parents or grandparents would get a kick out of this trip down memory lane, share this video with them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one, where we might just tackle the TV disasters of 1975. Trust me, there are plenty.